All right, 1.4, rewrite formulas and equations. All right, so first one says to solve the formula for the indicated variable, then use the given information to find the value of the variable, okay? So you have to do both parts. You have to first solve for whatever it wants you to solve for, then you can plug the other information in to actually get the value of that variable. So, number 4 says to solve A equals 1/2 BH for B, and then find the base of the triangle with the height of 6 inches, so H equals 6 inches, and an area of 24 inches squared. So this is part 1 here, is to solve for B, and then part 2 is going to be to find what B is equal to, given that information. So, if I wanted to get B by itself, what would I need to do? Yes.
Divide both sides by H.
Yes. Something just happened with my attendance on my thing, so I might need to fix it really quick. All right, then what?
Multiply both sides by 2.
Okay, fixed it. Yes. Sorry. So that's your formula for B. So then we're going to use this and plug this information in. So B equals 2 times 24 over 6. And what would that give us? 8 what?
Inches.
Let's see. The next one, say to solve the equation for y, then find the value of y for the given value of x. So very similar to what that one just was. Number 10, 15x plus 4y equals 9, and x equals -3 is what we'll be plugging in. So I want to get y by itself first, so what do I need to do first?
Subtract 15x from both sides.
So 4y equals -15x plus 9. And what?
Divide by 4 on both sides.
So y equals -15x plus 9 over 4. And so then now we're going to plug in the value of x. So y equals -15 times -3 plus 9 over 4. So we have 45 plus 9 over 4, which is 54 over 4. 4 going to 54? No. Right? No. Yeah. It just can reduce it by 2, so 27 over 2 would be the final for that. So you can leave it as improper, but always make sure you reduce it down. All right. 14. 9y minus 4x equals negative 30. X equals 8. So I need to get y by itself. So what am I doing?
Add 4x on both sides.
9y equals 4x minus 30.
And divide by 11.
Y equals 4x minus 30 over 9. Now we can replace x with 8, so y equals 4 times 8 minus 30 over 9. So 32 minus 30 over 9, 2 over 9, then is the answer. All right, so then same instructions, but getting a little bit harder. I don't know why they don't just lump them all in one section, but they skip a massive chunk and then decide to go back, so whatever. 24. 9y plus 6xy equals 30, and then x is equal to negative 6. So if I wanted to get y by itself, do you see anything that you could do? What do you think?
You divide by x on both sides? Or would it have to be 6x?
Well, if you do that, then you're going to end up with 9y over x, and then 30 over x
Oh.
is equal to 6y, or 9y over x plus 6y equals 30 over x.
So y would still want to be
So it's still going to be by itself. Could we possibly take a y out of this side and leave it then as 9 plus 6x?
We could.
How come-
That's smart.
How come it wouldn't be 2y since we have 2 y's?
Because
Because
these
the
aren't
y
like
was
terms.
Oh,
So I have to factor out.
got it.
Yeah. So if you put this back through, you end up back with what you started with.
Okay, so like undistributed.
Yeah, basically. So then now we can divide by everything that y is being multiplied by. So y equals 30 over 9 plus 6x. Really quick, I'm just going to make this note, and hopefully this doesn't confuse you, but I think it'll prevent you from doing something that is not true. This is not equal to this. Okay, you cannot divide this stuff up like that. If the roll was reversed, like if it was flipped over and the 30 was on the bottom, we could split it. But because it's two things being added together on the bottom, we can't split it like that. Okay. Now, I always just say to leave it together anyways, regardless, because it just makes life a little bit easier. But I just like to point out that that's not true because it's a common mistake that I see. So now we can plug in the negative 6. So y equals 30 over 9 plus 6 times negative 6. So 30 over 9 minus 36. What is that? 30 over 25? Negative 25? No.
27.
Yes. So then reduce 10 over 9, that's negative. So I'm going to have y'all try the next one on your own. Sometimes the problem won't be in this format, okay? So what you need to do is you need to get all the terms that have whatever variable you're trying to solve to one side and all the other terms off to the other side, okay? And then you're going to take out or try to get out whatever variable you're working with like we did here. So sometimes it requires an extra step or two, but ultimately you're trying to get something like this where you've pulled out the variable you're looking for. So I'm going to have y'all try this one and then we'll go over it. 4x plus 7y plus 5xy equals 0, and x is equal to 1.
Are we always going to be solving for the y, or is it always just going to be the opposite of the variable they give us?
I think this book pretty much always does y, at least in this section. I mean, other than like the first problem that gave you the a equals 1/2 bh, like other than that, like yeah. And it'll tell you what variable you're solving for if it's not y.
Okay.
Alright, do we get an answer? Alright, so what do we have for y equals? Like the, sorry, when you solve for y, what'd you get? What?
1/3.
Positive or negative?
Negative.
Okay. What did you get for the, like your y equals with the x's and stuff, x still in it?
Y equals 0 plus 4x over 7 plus 5x. So I undistributed, but I left the 4x outside of it. So I
Okay.
did 4x plus y times, in parentheses, 7 plus 5x equals 0. And then I subtracted by 4x, and then I divided by 7 plus 5x.
Okay, that's not quite right. I'll explain once you see it. I think you'll realize what.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Mine is y equals negative 4x over 7 plus 5x.
Alright, so whenever we're going to factor something out, we have to move over to the other side anything that doesn't already have what we want to factor out. So we needed to move the 4x over first. So I think if you had done that, I think you would have been fine. Because you factored out the y. So when you factored out the y, you had something like this, right?
Yeah, and then I just had
Because you just left you left the 4x just
out there.
out here, right? Did
yeah,
you
I
have...
said 4x plus y. Yeah, that's what I had.
Technically, that's fine. You would have had that's equal... Well, here. You would have had that's equal to 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then you still... you just would have needed to move the 4x over and then divide by that.
Yeah.
What
that's
a... So this is what you have?
Yeah, but I have the 0. I have 0 minus 4x. Do you want me to show you?
Well, you don't need the 0.
Oh, okay.
So outside of the 0, that's what you have. You have minus 4x over.
Oh, I put positive 4x. That's why I screwed it up.
Okay, I was like, wait a second. Trying to follow. When I hear things, I'm like sitting there trying to like visualize what I'm like. I think
Oh, it's
something's
like that.
missing.
There's gotta be somewhere where I put a positive where there's supposed to be a negative. because I
That's
got
why I
that
asked you if it
answer.
was supposed to be positive or negative. I was like, well, she has to have had something right because it's
Yeah, I
the
was like,
numbers
I got
right.
The answer, I just didn't put the correct sign. So the way I did it is okay. Or would you rather me do it this way?
Do it this way because when we get to harder problems,
It's gonna be easier.
this
to
will
do
be
that way.
easier. Yeah. Just keep the term. So basically, the rule is always whatever variable you're solving for. I always say throw all that to the left, and then I say whatever is left over that doesn't have that variable in it, throw it all on the right.
Got it.
So it just makes it a little easier when we get to problems that are harder.
Okay.
If you do it that way.
Yeah.
Again, not that it's wrong technically. Other than the sign, you had it right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Got it.
All right, so one more. These ones just say solve for the indicated variable, so it'll tell you which variable to solve for. Some of the problems in this section have 3 variables in them instead of 2, so that's also why. So 28, we have xy is equal to x plus y. Solve for y. So with one like this, I want to get y by itself. Okay, so I have a y on both sides right now. So since I want to solve for y, I'm going to move all the y terms to the left side. So I'm going to move over the positive y from the right. It's about to be a tongue twister. Move it to the left. So xy minus y equals x. And then I can go back and do like what we were doing with the other ones. Now I can factor out a y. So y times x minus 1. And in both cases of the ones where we factored something out before, there was a number and a variable left. Just remember that if there was just a y like this, that you have to put the 1. That's another thing that I see get left out a lot. They're like, oh, it's just gone now. But it's like, it still has to, when you redistribute it, it should look back like whatever you had in the step before. Then that's equal to x, so then we just divide, so y equals x over x minus 1. And these ones don't give you a number to plug in, so that's all you have to do for those. So one that I'm going to assign you in your homework has 3 variables. Okay, it looks very similar to this. It's x, y, z is equal to x plus y plus z. Okay, so whatever variable it tells you to solve for, you need to do the same thing of move that variable to the left, factor it out, and then divide. So, anyways, and if there's an issue with that one, just make sure you let me know tomorrow when we get ready to start, and I'll go over that. Just because I'm going to give you one word problem, a formula that you're going to need is that circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. You'll need that for that problem. Typically, you're probably used to seeing 2 pi r, which is the same thing, but the problem gives you diameter. So it's essentially like the first ones we did. It's talking about a tree, so it's not a hard word problem, but it's good just to see a few for, when you get to SATs, PSATs, all that fun stuff. Kind of used to it. So then your problems are 5, 9, 17, 23, 29, which is the one that has the 3 variables in it, and then 33 is the word problem. Here, let me turn this off first.